Oh, yeah, mate. Well,
Nah,
upper
right.
crust.
Yeah, I know it's there. I live in the beaches.
I like those
I know,
villas, those villas ones.
I was hoping for a schooner. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you want one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone's gonna join me there.
Are we rolling?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah,
That's all right.
sweet.
We'll fill. Keep, you get a drink. We'll keep the fire.
What am I, a slave?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You just do what you're told. There ain't no HR in this building, brother. Sorry, you have to hear.
Oh, that's okay.
What you're going to
you
do
know.
with Cooper. Cooper tends to sort of get ahead of himself. I don't know what he said to you, Ash, but in this house, he's the bottom of the
I
ladder,
get it. Yeah,
bottom of the
yeah,
pecking
yeah.
order.
So I've got 2 kids under 6. So
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get what it's like.
Fucking
The
hate
brain capacity is similar.
I hate my kids so much. I'm
Oh,
sorry, Jack. I forgot Jack was there.
People always say to me, like, how many kids do you want? And I'm like, none.
Yeah, I know.
And they're like, don't you have 2? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
What's the problem?
Unbelievable.
I had the snip, though.
Oh, did you?
Did you ever have the snip?
Yeah, I had the snip. Yeah.
How'd you go?
Yeah. I was too late, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I did the snip. I had the condoms, everything. But Trish, just always getting the pin, putting in
Yeah.
the condoms. Next minute, I got
2 of them.
got Lloyd and Harry here.
Yeah. Dumb and Dumber, eh?
Yeah, that's it.
Arnold Palmer alert.
Yeasty. That's for sure.
Oh, well, Mark Carroll will be happy about that. Spud will be stoked to hear that.
Spud doesn't hold a grudge.
Don't come after me, Spud.
Hey, you had Trish on the other podcast, you and Maddie.
Yeah, I had your beautiful wife in my house. It was great.
Steady on.
Again.
She was she was great. She funny, a lot of shit about Cooper, which is what we really wanted.
Yeah, bad stuff.
Is there bad stuff about Dad?
I heard your room is an absolute fucking pigsty. What you go on swearing on this podcast?
Yeah,
Oh,
go
mate.
for it.
Go for life?
Sometimes,
We're,
mate,
we're very progressive.
anything you want. Like, you can hammer anyone.
Beautiful.
Or, like, you can say whatever you want, and we don't even beep it. Like, we won't cut
As you
anything.
said
All right,
before,
strap it. No.
That's one thing about our business. There ain't no HR.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, that's like
That's
us too. That's like us. So we had Trish on. She was great. A lot of fun.
Whinge just here.
Nah, look, we kept it at a nice fun level.
Yeah.
So
yes.
when is that coming out?
Monday.
Oh, so this is...
Yeah.
Hang on a second. 2 worlds collide.
Synchronicity.
When this comes out, Trish's episode will be out too.
Yeah, so that'll be out first thing Monday morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was great, a lot of fun. And then we sort of touched on the breast cancer stuff when all that happened, and which is really helpful for our audience because we're like 75% women somehow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude, we are. Yeah, it's
Interesting.
Women love you, and men
love
want to
us.
be you.
exactly right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Other husbands want to be us. Yeah, So yeah, good. Monday be out, and
Did she reverse into your bins?
not this time. No,
Okay, no worries.
no,
This
not
time?
This time.
So they had
Not
hubcaps
this-
scratched when she came back.
It's funny. She had her own key. I don't know how that.
Yeah, I know.
I hope she returned it.
Yeah,
this
she was.
time.
She was horrified when she got back because she said she's not going to use your toilet. She thought she was going to number 1s, but she ended up doing number 2s, and there was no scrubbing brush in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the go with that? Why do you not have?
I do. And speaking of that, I was just watching a clip of how she was talking about hovering above the toilet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And you were baffled. Here you go. My old man, who's in his 60s now,
God bless him.
he actually just survived a triple bypass. So thank you. He's going to love that. Yeah.
Hey, 100%. We'll clip it up.
He's going to love that. He's a big fan of the Johns family, of course. So good day, Wayno. And he's a hoverer when he shits.
What, even at home?
Everywhere.
What?
So the thought process behind it is he hovers because it prevents piles.
yes.
I love how the elders of it go, yes.
No, it does. It was very common growing up. People used to say, "Don't sit on concrete; it'll give you piles."
That's another
and
one,
sort of stuff. Yeah.
So what is piles?
They're just hemorrhoids.
Oh, so by hovering, apparently hovering like is good for the stool. Like it's the best way for it to emerge.
in Asian nations, they generally will stand on the toilets in the Western toilets because apparently it opens up the bowel more. But anyway, if any of our Asian listeners can verify that, because
leave it in the
I tend to throw out facts, which now people are correcting me every single week.
This is the thing. Like the new age, right? Dad's lived through both ages where people don't really fact check what you say. And now the new age, the things that he said on the podcast and said religiously for 20 years on TV, now people are starting to pull him up for it.
That's the best when people start to pull you up on it. Like we had a lady who was whinging about how the government didn't see her twins as 2 kids. And I was like, what are they, Siamese or something like that? And then we sort of rattled off the reason why with no research. And then people were like, you don't know anything about having twins. Like shit, like people just kick off.
Yeah, they get so cut.
Oh, yeah.
So why they don't see her kids as twins?
Oh, it's a long story.
Yeah, let's not even, it's
a long story, but the hover thing. So I remember back when I was a kid, my old man would be like, don't sit on the toilet for so long, because he's obviously suffered with hemorrhoids. Sorry, Dad, to really throw you under the bus here. But yeah, he used to say he hovers, and he's only like 5'5", so it'd be tough to hover above it.
Must be a low toilet,
a Western-sized toilet.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but it's funny. Like again, growing up, my dad, like every Saturday morning for me was Dad basically going to the toilet with a form guide, a smoke, a black coffee, and just sitting in the toilet. And
what
just
a combo!
Must be shitting for 45 minutes. And look, when I look back now, I was only a young kid, and he had me when he was about 18, so he'd have been, in his mid-20s. And I'm thinking, okay, what actually did take place in that 45 minutes? Was he really looking at the top weight, or was he pulling his own weight?
Definitely ripping the end off it for sure.
100%.
At least one time. But like the combination of coffee and a black coffee and a ciggy, tell you right now, if he was jerking it, that cum would have stunk like coffee.
Hey, you wouldn't want to go in
It would
after
have melted the floor.
Well, that's what
You got an old fella on him too.
French women basically live on black coffee and smoking. They barely eat, I've heard.
Oh, that's
Is that an old...
It's an old stereotype.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
He wouldn't know, isn't he?
He doesn't know, mate. He's a joke.
I'm 25 and a half. I'm 25 and a half.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay,
My
I'm
toddler's 5.5. Oh, he's a toddler. He's a child now. He's 5.5. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, you don't get correct facts on Instagram. and
yes, you do.
Twitter. Sorry?
TikTok. I like it.
TikTok.
That's where I get all my information.
Now, you've got your Manly hat on.
Yeah.
When we're recording this, Manly are about to play the Broncos. Mate, I want to get your thought, because this will come out, in a couple of days.
Yeah.
I want to get, you're either going to look like a legend or you're going to look like an idiot. Who do you think's going to win?
I'm going to look like an idiot. No, I reckon Brisbane's probably going to roll us.
Oh, mate, they will.
We saw him last night, actually. We're having
did?
Just spike their drinks? Or what's going on?
yeah, I did. I tried to spike a Pat Carrigan's
Are
drink.
they
but
all
unfortunately-
backing up? He'd be backing
Yeah,
up.
I think
They're all
I think
playing.
They're backing up. I saw
Yeah,
Payne Haas last night, and I raced up to him and said, Nova Castrian. Because he's a Woodbury boy.
And he said,
Newcastle
"Who
boy."
the
No,
hell
and he
is
was sort of staring at me, and I was all over him like a cheap suit going, yeah, legend. And he's such a nice kid. I could see in his eyes just going, who the fuck is this?
Hey, can
He might not own TV.
I don't even know if Payne was there. You
Yeah, he
might have
was.
said it to the... Oh,
No,
really?
no.
I
Payne
didn't
was
see
there.
Payne.
He's short.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I met him at where did I meet him at? It was a Brisbane preseason camp at in Noosa.
That's right.
I
saw the video.
No,
you did a video, right?
Such a lovely guy,
Champion.
soft talker for how big he is. I was like Man Mountain,
Oh,
and I was just like, wasn't expecting him to be so like softly spoken.
Yeah.
It sort of took me back a little bit.
He's an articulate kid
Yeah.
too. And what he's had to endure in the last 5 years is it's amazing.
Yeah.
What he has taken on board. It's pretty incredible. He's an impressive
he's a
bloke.
mentally tough bloke. Like even
Yeah.
State of Origin, like I went into camp a couple of times and he only trained once.
Yeah, right.
And it was like very light session that he did. He was just doing rehab all week and then went out there and was like the best player on the field.
he was unbelievable.
Right.
I remember the first time seeing him play, it was Jack playing against you. Remember that time was you were playing under 20s and he was playing for the Broncos under 20s and he just performed a demolition job on you blokes.
Yeah, we had them late in the year when I was playing 20s in 2017, and there was a few of them that came back, and they put about 50 on us at Newcastle at McDonald
Holy
Jones Stadium,
shit.
and he just destroyed us.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Well, Payne's my age. So to be playing...
So he's a child.
He could have been playing... Sorry, he's 25 and a half, mate. I just said that here. So he would have been playing... And at that age, 2 years is a big difference. Like to not play under 18 to go straight to 20s, like that's a big jump. Like now in NRL, it's nothing. But at that age, it's a big development jump. So he had to go out there and dominate Jack, and I'm sure he ran over him a few times. Was that the game, Jack, where... And there was a viral... People might remember it. There was a viral video that went around of Jack. Remember that?
No, that was
That was in the finals.
that was
later
in
in
the,
the
that
year.
was in the final.
It was against the Broncos. Jack's shirt on fifth tackle got ripped off, right? And then there was just went viral randomly of like young girls being like,
Here
"Oh,
he
how
is."
good looking is this bloke?" Lots has changed since then.
So you're definitely taking credit for this one, though.
But he threw his jersey on the sideline, Jack. He couldn't get it back on because they're hard to get on when they're sweaty. And you made like a couple of tackles. Like he went like a set or two shirtless.
Yeah,
So-
he played
I've got to get that
I
footage up.
was playing 6, and I had to take a second tackle carry, and I carried the ball, and I think it might have been Pat Carrigan or someone like that, ripped my shirt off. and then it was a wind tunnel in it was the old Allianz wind tunnel in there, and I was fifth tackle, and my shirt wasn't on, so I just threw it to the side, put a nice little nudge in the corner,
It was a good kick.
and our trainer Simon Webber, put it back inside out for me so I could chuck it on quickly because it was inside out.
Yeah.
It was taking too much time. First job is put a nice little nudge in the corner.
Hey, you're a team first kind of guy, and that's
Exactly right.
Turn him down.
You could have caught a cold. You could have caught all sorts of things.
Turn him down.
last word, Jack, before I turn your mic off for eternity. Anything else?
Nah, I'm
great.
good.
Pop,
That Brisbane shoot was the same one that we gave Reece Walsh the
Chili.
chili gummy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was chatting to him. And we did like a food challenge, and I was chatting to him, and I was like, "Oh, I've got the world's hottest gummy here," and he's like, "Oh yeah," I said you should hide it in a bunch of lollies and just give it to someone. I didn't know it was going to give it to your boys.
Oh, that's right, because he gave it to
Gave
Fletch.
it to Fletch,
Yeah. Do you remember that when Fletch and Hindy went up?
Yeah, so I gave him the weapon, essentially. Yeah.
So
You loaded the gun.
Yeah. I loaded it and said, "Here you go, mate. Do what you like with it." Because I was kicking. I ended up afterwards. I was out running drills with Ezra Mam and Corey Oates, and
That's
then
right.
he comes out. And he was like, "Oh, fucking just have a look at this," and got his
Fletch.
phone out and just showed me. And I was like, "Fuck, that's gold."
That was very funny. Yeah.
That was good
The
gear.
old gummy,
Yeah.
as opposed to the other gummies that are starting to circulate in Australia.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Disgraceful.
Yeah,
Disgraceful.
which we're
behaviour.
not advocates for.
They are so good.
Uh,
I'll tell you, we had Husey on the other day who loves a gummy.
Dave Hughes.
Yeah.
Dave Hughes. Yeah.
So he took it.
He looks like the woman on that smoking packet, doesn't he? Like,
Brian. Oh no, that's Brian.
That's right. Yeah.
He tells a really funny story where he took some gummies in Hawaii and wore his wife's swimsuit down to the beach and didn't know. That's a fucking great story.
What?
Yeah. He tells it in his stand-up.
No wonder, no wonder you like when you walk in the streets of New York, LA, like you see some of the creatures getting around because everyone's just on gummies.
it's quite amazing. The smell of America now is weed.
Yeah.
It's just remarkable how things have turned around. I mean, even more so Thailand. I mean, Thailand, God, 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, you're getting life in jail. You get caught with drugs, and now like the weed stores are just popping up everywhere.
Well, I'm hearing obviously Bali's quite strict still, but I think since COVID, like it's definitely loosened because some of my mates were over there not long ago and they like got their hands on gummies and stuff.
Yeah,
but like,
you would, yeah.
remember like pre-COVID,
it'll be
you go over there, it's like you wouldn't even look for
just
it.
ask Chappelle.
Yeah. Well, I know. Well, she spent life in jail and she didn't even know it was in the boogie bag.
I just got busted in Bali for having a kilo and a half of coke delivered from Thailand.
Did you really?
Yeah, he's gone. He's an Aussie bloke. He's gone, man. He's gone
Wow.
forever.
Why would you
Remember
risk it?
all the coke bundles of coke kept washing up in the beach up and around here.
Yeah, on the northern beaches.
Northern beaches. We know someone who found.
No,
Like,
you don't.
We know someone who found.
What did
one.
they have to do? Like, full disclosure. Don't have to tell me who it is. Who was it? No.
There was a couple of the guys,
Yeah.
and they found it, and there was they were a work crew, and there was an older bloke there, and they caught it, and like imagine these young guys go, all right,
Oh, yeah.
and the older bloke just said, boys, like just think about this. You do that for the rest of your life. You're waiting for that knock on the door. The gangsters,
Got
the
in their
Russians, the Chechens.
He bluffed them out of it,
Yeah,
didn't
I
he?
know.
Yeah.
He bluffed them out of it.
Yeah.
They handed it over with a tear in their eye.
Oh,
In the police
you
station.
haven't seen him since.
Working with Aaron Woods, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
you've got a couple podcasts which we're going to get to, but you've been doing an NRL podcast with Renee Gardner and Aaron Woods, our great friend of the potty.
And a bit of Brent Tate too.
Is
Yeah.
the Tatey joining it?
He's
is he?
just through Origin to give us a Queensland perspective because we're all.
New
It's
South
funny.
Wales.
We're all New South Wales. We're all Manly. Well, Woodsy could be any team.
Woodsy's played for just about every
Just
club.
about
He's
every
got
team.
more clubs than Justin Ham.
Yeah.
He's played 10 games every club.
I know. I know.
Wow. He's
Just like, oh wait, how many? I think I've asked you this before. How many games did you play in total?
19.
And there's 26 in a season, yeah.
Yeah. But this is the thing. I would argue, quality-wise
Oh, okay.
and consistency.
Outside of preseason or inside of preseason?
Outside of preseason.
Okay.
By the way, Tony Mestrov, you're welcome for that $100,000. You know what they did with the $100,000 that I won them? They bought. They
for the
They
pre-season.
forced you into retirement with it.
yes, they nudged me out. They bought a sauna for all the boys.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So
When
I
are
thought-
we getting to go in that sauna?
I don't know. I don't think that, you know what, because Manly's facilities, right? So it's the most high-tech security system you've ever seen, like for a rugby
I'm
league
pretty
club.
sure I've walked in there
It's
heaps of times.
for training, it's Face ID. So like the building where the sauna is and the locker room is, you have fingerprint with your face to get in. And as soon as you finish, literally, I reckon the day after, Brad Parker said the same thing because he went He left some boots in there. He went to go back into his locker to get them. And, mate, the day after the season finished, boys, they had erased our fingerprint on face.
He never
We were
existed.
going, what? We still got to clear our locker out. They're like,
Well, you
someone
see-
will clear it out for you.
It was pretty confronting. I remember when I was working at Triple M, there were people who, mate, it was so ruthless. I was watching going, what is happening? And these people either laid off or I forget what it was. But, mate, there was no sentiment. There was no empathy. They sent the security in, marched them. They picked up their computers and marched them out of the office.
That's wild.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That's just corporate world. I mean, I used to work in corporate world, and yeah, fuck, at CBA, sit in CBA, and people just walking out with a box of their shit.
No.
That's wild, eh?
So we're actually thinking about putting Trish was like going to put a sauna out the back. And
Thinking
I said,
about it.
hey, if we're going to do a sauna, let's do just a whole bathhouse. So,
yeah.
mate, if we put the
I
bathhouse
can't
out,
wait.
you and Maddie can come over, man.
Oh
Yeah.
I'd bloody love
There's
that.
going to be like a massage
You don't want
therapist.
Matty over here though. He's rig.
Oh,
You
it's good, eh?
Put you to shame.
I saw the calendar.
Oh my goodness,
Stunning.
Yeah.
That calendar was. I did 3 weeks in Bali and landed that morning to do that shoot. So I'm body by bintang and bloated as fuck.
You
and
were
really
very
tanned,
bloated.
really tanned. And Matt's just halfway through the Ned Brockman challenge. The guy, I've seen more body fat than a skeleton. Fucking hell. And then I had to stand next to him and a bunch of animals.
Oh,
It was fucked. And
Yeah.
do you know what was really funny that day we did that shoot? It was like a petting zoo out of Dural. It was closed for a private event, a seniors event.
yep.
And then they were like, oh, I suppose you can do it while we're doing that. Anyway, they had an ambulance on site just in case because Maddie's walking around with no shirt on and all these old ducks are just like, whoo, shit. And then I'm milking a cow while looking like a cow. And it was just like they were dropping like flies, these poor
Fucking
ducks.
hell. Yeah, but the picture in there, June. Oh,
Has
his
it up
picture
in
in June.
Trish's.
Now, Matty J, obviously,
Yeah.
he's your main podcast, Two Dotting Dads,
Yeah.
as opposed to the one we do with Woodsy. He's your right-hand man, Matty.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, how did that come about? I'm always very interested when a show comes together, whether you've been friends for ages or whether you just admired each other's content work and you just got together.
I just admired his rig, really.
Really?
A couple of years ago, he reached out to me just with a content idea, and we sort of met up. It was funny. The first time we met was like a bit of a blind date situation where he messaged me and said, "Oh, I've been invited to this Meta event. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, sweet."
And you'd never met each other?
Never met, but we were like, we wanted to do some content together. And then we ended up making a video it was in a playground setting that was really like, it was meant to be really funny, but it ended up being really dramatic. It was like the music behind it. It was like when you spot another dad, in a park, because being in a park with a bunch of kids, it's fucking so boring.
Yeah.
Torture.
And then you see a mate, and so we did the whole like come together really slow, running and in the park spinning and all sorts of stuff like that. And we went off, and people were loving it. And we did a few other things, and I had a few ideas for a podcast, and then one of them was a dad sort of relationship podcast, and he was really hard to get across the line because he's done a few pods before. His wife's got like one of the most successful pods that works at ARN, and then I ended up saying to him, "It's all good. I got another dad." And he was like, "Oh yeah," and just left it for a week. And then I was like, "Are you sure you don't want to do it?" And he was like, "Yeah, okay, we'll do it, but we have to call it Two Doting Dads." And I was like, why? He was like, because one time the Daily Mail written an article about him just because he was taking the kids to the park. It's how low the bar is for dads, right? So you're in luck when it finally happens, if it ever happens.
crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Might already be out there as well.
He was just at the park with his kids, the bare minimum, and they wrote this article saying, "Oh, doting dad, Matty J." So it was a bit of a jab towards Daily Mail, and then we just recorded at his kitchen table. It was full of laundry with a producer, and she was, Keisha.
Yes,
yeah.
Keisha Pettit. She actually used to work at Triple M with you, Dad, on the grill team.
Yeah,
I think she used to do some producing for
she did. Yeah,
your show. Yeah. You'd know.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah, so we sat, and she was like, "There's something here. You got to go with it."
Yeah,
So
wow.
it's been just past 2 years and 148 eps. And
Oh
Because
God.
they say, I like the name because they say that doting dads are often a turn on for females.
Dilfs.
So
Can I ask my ignorance? What is a doting dad?
That's a
you are joking, aren't you?
No.
It's a present, caring dad, essentially. Like,
Is it like a stay-at-home dad? Is that
not necessarily. No,
Oh,
it's
no?
just a more involved. And like this generation of dads is where it used to be like 40% 47% of dads used to change nappies. Now it's at 97%.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's a stat.
And
What are you,
that's-
David Middleton?
Yeah, and that
Of the dad
3%
world?
is just Mitch Moses.
Or Isaac Moses?
Well, back in the day, before the disposable nappies, used to have the old.
Used to wash 'em, the
You
cloth.
have to wash them, pull them off. And
Were you a-
it was a real mess.
Were you because I would say you weren't a doting dad, especially when you were playing. What?
Yes, I
You-
was.
Well, you
I
were
was
quite
ever
absent.
present.
You were quite absent
What?
for most
He's
of
here
our
now. That's the main thing, all right?
Guys,
but he's more of a mate now than a dad.
Yeah, that's-
so
yeah,
like, you
that's-
know.
yeah.
But I would say out of the sheer fact that you worked a lot, you travel for football, and then you were also doing stuff, with the footy
Mad
show on radio.
Mondays.
Yeah, exactly. well, do you know what? Yeah.
I was going to say, talk about Mad Mondays. When Jack was born,
I've heard the
it
story.
was. Oh, really? Have you
I
heard
just
it?
had your mum on the pod, bro.
Oh, yeah, true. Gee, she had some laundry out.
Yeah.
Talk about-
It was like she was telling us that you went out, came back. She didn't want you to come into the hospital. So they let you in, and then you ordered a pizza.
After the
So
97.
What happened? 'Cause we'd won the grand final. The whole city was celebrating,
Mm.
and so at the hospital they just said, "Mate, we've got a spare bed next to Trish. You want to stay?" And I
Beautiful.
said, "Yeah, I'll stay." So I stayed for 6 days. Even when Trish wanted to go home, I said, "Just stay a couple more days." It was so good. So through the day. We'd be out celebrating still, getting on the drink. Then I'd stagger back to the hospital about 8 o'clock at night.
The hospital or the hostel?
He'd leave the hostel and go to the hospital.
and I used to hear Trish there going, I'd do the buzz and I could hear her saying, "Don't fucking let him in. Don't fucking let him in." Then I'd come in, then I'd say, "Tell you what, ladies, have you got any sandwiches?" "Oh, no, we haven't." "Couldn't order me a pizza, could you?"
They would
Not
ring,
a problem.
They rang like Domino's.
They were ringing, yeah.
Yeah, your mum was saying that he ordered a pizza and then passed out. That's what happened.
Well, you know what
They revived me.
It was a meat lover. As soon as he smelt the meat lovers, he was like resurrected.
Clear. Wake him up. You know what? But you just reminded me because our cousin Sarah, who's getting married at the end of the year. Shout out to Sarah and Phil if they make it there.
Yeah, because
Lots can go wrong, right?
Well, and
Phil's a very traditional name.
It is.
Guy.
Yeah, it's just He's not young. He's about 80. She's about 24. No.
he's a dilf.
yeah. Well, a gilf. He's more like a gilf.
Sorry.
She used to live with us, right, for a while, and whenever mum and dad were away, like she kind of babysit us, but like I was, I'd sneak out and have a couple beers.
Nice.
Like I was, young, but not condoning
Don't dob
that
yourself
sort of thing.
in too much, mate.
Anyway, it's fine. I'm 25.
He was 13. I used to buy his grog for him.
Yeah.
25 and a half now, so it's fine. I can air it out. But I used to, because at that age, like Uber Eats and that wasn't really around. So it's not like late night you order and I couldn't drive. So we had these frozen pizzas that remember them? The frozen
ham
pizzas.
and pineapple ones?
Oh,
the
mate.
square ones?
They were,
they
they weren't.
rectangle.
They were circle.
Okay.
We just get them down at the IGA.
You've just about
Different
actually gone
shape?
through every shape there.
Yeah.
Is it
Oblong. I think it was
Is it
oblong.
oblong?
And I've put it in. This is one of the, like when you fall asleep. I've put it in the oven,
Oh,
and
here
I'm
we
sitting
go.
on the couch. It takes about 20 minutes. I've passed out on the couch. Lucky Sarah was living with us because the whole place would have burnt to the ground. She reckons. I mean, remember how long the smoke took to get out of the house? Like it was completely coal black charcoal.
It hangs around like a bad guest. doesn't
Oh,
it?
the
It's
smoke.
just- you can't get rid of it.
Mate, smoke it's a tricky little. They're like crabs, tricky little customer.
I used to live with a family in Elanora Heights when I moved back to Sydney, and with a mate, and he was the worst for that. He would get home, put something in the oven, and fall asleep at the fucking table, and then I'd wake everyone up with the smoke alarm, nearly burn the fucking house down.
Well, I bet Trish never told you about the time that she was so stoned. She got home and tried to cook squid rings in the microwave. And then watching her just
Squid rings.
squid rings in the
Calamari.
calamari. Yeah,
Oh, is that what squid rings are called?
That's what they used to be called, bro.
honestly.
Back in the
Where did you go
diggity.
to school, Ash?
I went to school in Elanora.
Yeah, it must have been an excellent school, given the fact that hear that squid rings was what? Was
Yeah.
that calamari?
I went to St Paul's for 1 year. That
did ya?
ruined me. Yeah, that
Yeah.
ruined me.
St. Paul's a good school. Hey, back to Matty J for
Yeah,
one sec,
sorry.
because I wanted to bring up, he was obviously on The Bachelor, right? Reality TV. I've got a bone to pick with reality TV. I want to see if you agree with me.
Okay,
Have you ever
fine.
done reality TV?
Nah.
Would you?
Oh,
If
look, I'm
money
not,
talks.
I'm not that desperate. But if the money was good.
I wanted to say,
Love Island.
you would do Love Island
I
now?
reckon Divorcee Island should take off.
I reckon too.
That'd be
That'd
good.
Yeah, I reckon it'd be- yeah,
good.
great.
I got
That'd
an
be a
idea
great
that I'm going to
show.
pitch. Swingers Island, where actual married
I'd be up
go
for
and
that.
they do that. Yeah. You'd
Well, they
love
do that. They do. Oh, it's not married couples though. It's like it's that English one. Then you got to watch your missus get by someone else.
What?
Yeah, have you not seen that?
Sounds pretty cool.
I haven't seen that
Maddie's
at
all
all.
for it.
I've never heard that. Reality TV, do you think is because when obviously Matty J got his name from winning The Bachelor, right?
Yep.
And I look at a lot of the reality TV stars now that come out of it, and they're not really
Up to
household
scratch.
names. You know, they're not really they don't really
There's so much of it.
take off and become household names
Yeah,
anymore.
correct, yeah.
Do you think that's because reality TV's gone down?
Yeah, totally. That's one reason. I think like it also with Matty, he's just done such a good job to stay relevant. Like he adapts so well. So he went from losing the Bachelorette to winning the Bachelor to then taking what he had and running with it instead of like a lot of people don't. And he's really switched on opposed to a lot of these other dickheads that get a
do it.
shop. Yeah. But I think also like they've just flooded the
Market.
market with a bunch of desperate people. It's also another thing I'd like to see is they always put these really good looking people on love shows and whinging about that they can't find love, but they're all so fucking good looking. Put a couple of ugly people in there. That's something I'd watch.
100%.
People that are really actually struggling to get
Yeah.
a date,
Yeah.
not these guys who just fuck around.
Yeah, I like that.
But the other thing too, Keith, you've got to remember this. If we go way, way back in time, back to the prehistoric days when I was a kid, in Newcastle there was 2 TV channels. There was the ABC and there was Channel 3, which was a Channel 9 affiliate. Even in Sydney, you had 9, 7, 10. And then all of a sudden you had pay TV come in. And, these shows, these big shows still maintain. But now, these days, you got all the pay TV, you got all free to air.
Streaming.
You got Netflix streaming and everything. It just gets lost.
Oh yeah, unless you like really got your finger on the pulse, like my missus, who reality TV is her jam.
Oh, she loves it.
And I'm just like, I can't fucking stand it. Like, I'm open with Matt about that. I can't stand reality TV as well, even though he's from reality TV. But he did really well to be more than that.
Is there a show you do? If you had to do, and this is a question for you too, Matthew. Is there
I would like to do Survivor or something.
one of the challenge ones, right? Like an SAS, if that come back.
Yeah, probably. Look, honestly, can you have beers out there? Or?
Probably.
I would say Survivor, but it would need to be like. I don't want to be like the oldest or the youngest. I want to be like in the middle. What about you,
doing
Matty?
all right?
I've been asked to do most. I got asked to do.
You've been asked.
I got
I'm a
asked to
celebrity.
dancing with
Oh,
stars
never.
about 4 or 5 times. Said no way.
I've seen you dance down the Colorado. You probably have a good crack at that.
Yeah, mate.
He goes to salsa night every Friday
How
night.
good is salsa night down
Love it,
here?
mate. Love
They
it.
do one up at the forest as well.
Mate, it's insane.
Mate,
It's our
salsa
own little
night-
slice of Buenos Aires here in Colorado.
Salsa night goes crazy on Friday
That's
nights.
so good.
Oh,
So Dance with the Stars, I got
Yeah.
asked to do I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. Put it this way, like you go, okay, if I would never go on the show as a celebrity if they think I'm a celebrity, get me on there.
Yeah,
It's a low bar this year. But Survivor, did a couple, but it's just not my go.
Yeah,
Just,
I
I like what I like.
Yeah, there was a time there where I was going to be on Big Brother during COVID, but I did like the last stage with like it was like they put you with a group to see the dynamic, and I just hated everyone that they put me in a group.
Yeah.
with. And I was like, fuck this. And I'm kind of glad that never happened.
Well, Ash, Steve Menzies, been a Manly fan, the great Beaver Menzies. They once got him to do. He was in line to do Celebrity Survivor, right?
Yeah.
But then he got down to the last cut, and now Beaver's like, "Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, sweet." And they did the psychoanalysis of it and said,
God.
"No, you can't do
Yeah,
it.
not.
You're too good a bloke, and you just coexist too well."
Yeah.
So it just shows you
Not enough controversy.
Yeah, that's right.
A funny thing about Steve, I met Steve 10 years ago. A friend of mine won like a Manly experience where Steve picks you up. You go down to the Brookie Oval. There was a BT50 ute on the hill, and it was free piss, free food, or whatever. And it just happened to be the day that we flogged Para like 54-0 or something. And it was about 45 degrees up on that hill. But I remember he picked us up from my mate's house, and he had obviously forgotten in the morning that he had to do this. And he had his kids in the car with him. And, we're 23, 24, just on the piss all day. I spewed up like 4 times on Brookie Hill. Anyway, Steve was like, okay, well, he had to keep coming back. And you can tell he just definitely didn't want to come back. And then afterwards, we were to go to Manly Leagues. And we'd been on the piss all day in the heat. Get down there into where they sign in, and people are asking for autographs and photos with Steve as it happens. And he went to sign me in, and he just did his initials. And I fucking was like, well, everyone else is getting a fucking signature, and here I am getting fucking initials. Had a bit of a scuffle with him. Had a scuffle with him in the middle of the leaguesy. Anyway, they kicked me out or whatever, and I left. Spewed up at the bus stop on the way home. And then, because he's obviously working in finance and stuff now, he used to get on the same bus as me. And I remember I was sitting on a bendy bus and there was one seat next to me, and he got on, he took one look and got off the bus.
Did he really?
Yeah. And then at the Leaguesy gym, I used to go there all the time. Same thing. He walked in and saw me sitting there on the bench press machine and turned around and walked out.
Rotated, went out.
No, wait. So
10 years later, right? Last year, Manly invited me to the awards night. You didn't get a call up, did you?
last year, no. I would have cleaned up.
You would have cleaned up all right, yeah. The best retired. And
I'll give you the mop and bucket. Yeah, cleaned up all right.
Anyway, I took Maddie with me because it was his
Date.
bum chum, my date. And I walked in, it's all these really nice tables, Star Casino. And I was like, fuck, I hope they don't sit me next to Steve Menzies. And I walked over and bingo.
Bingo. No.
It goes, Steve's wife, Steve, me, Maddie. And Maddie goes, I'll just sit in the middle and buff you. And thankfully, at the time, Steve didn't put it together, what was going on, 10 years later. And where I'm sort of like, not overly chummy, like I'm sort of like chatting or whatever. Like I thought it was all funny. And then Maddie was like, oh, I'll protect you from this. And then Maddie leans over to Steve and goes, do you recognize this bloke? And points at me, and I went, oh, fuck, and here we go. And she's like, no, kinda. I said, oh, yeah, you picked me and a couple of mates up with your kids to go to the footy once, and he just went, this fucking guy. And his wife was like, what's going on? And we told the story, and he was just like, fucking hell, you're a pest, like just full pest mode.
Was it water under the bridge?
Yeah, we were sweet by the end of it. Yeah. Eventually I moved overseas and I was chatting with him. But like, it was just like a full circle moment to close the gap.
To be on, you must have done something bad to be on Beaver's side, because Beaver doesn't have beef with anyone.
I think he was just sick of me being a pisshead.
Yeah.
So like it was a classic. So hot up there on that hill. It was early doors in the season, so it was still kind of summer weather. And we gave him a flogging, and I was just sinking tins pretty hard. Yeah.
Oh mate, it's easy to get caught up on
amazing
Rookie
Beaver. Nearly 500 games in a play. I actually played Beaver one of his first ever first grade games.
500 games
because he played a mile of games in England in the Super League as well. But one of his first ever games, Newcastle versus Manly in 92 and 93. And we were sort of both really young guys. I remember Beaver. I didn't even know who he was. And he got the ball and first time does that double jump and then bang. I'm going, fuck, this guy's good. And about the third handle, he sort of got half through. And one of our defenders got caught up. And anyway, Beaver did his knee, did his ACL. Yeah, carried off. But the thing about that ACL, do you remember Nick Kosef years ago?
Yep.
Yeah, Nick was a great player. Him and Beaver were best mates. Nick, that day Beaver was wearing Nick's boots. The week before, Nick did his knees in those boots, and then Beaver the week after wore him did his knees. Yep, they threw the boots out. Fair to say, they burnt the boots.
No, wow.
The boots no longer.
I remember when we had years of like a lot of ACLs, and they were blaming the blades. Remember the blades?
Yeah.
Well, they weren't blades, but they might have been too.
There is actually. I mean, I'm going to bore people with it here. It's not a
Never,
podcast, but no. Anyway, but a lot of the time it is the boots. The boots, man. A lot of the modern boots, the grip is too heavy on the bottom, and you see guys doing soft tissue injuries, ACLs, all that stuff.
Yeah,
I did both my ankles at the same time, playing soccer, and the studs got stuck.
That's what
on
happens.
a slide tackle.
Yeah,
and just both end up.
Sometimes it's the turf with the boots. Sometimes if it's turf that's got a lot of give, like you got to adjust the boots to the turf.
You're far
sometimes.
better off wearing a lot of the old traditional studs.
Just a single.
Yep. Far better.
Well.
Hey, just on Matty. So he was on The Bachelor, huh?
Started on The Bachelorette.
Yep.
He got runner-up. He cried a lot. I always make fun of
That's
that.
always works well for the camera, doesn't it?
Oh, man. I every, the last couple of years on his birthday, I sent him a picture of him crying.
Oh, mate.
From that series.
I think when you go on those shows, you've got to have a checklist. Number one is heartbreak. Number two, sensitivity. Number three, just lost a loved one.
Yeah.
That's always...
Sob story is always going to win you over.
Mate, big tears, big ratings, big revenue.
It's like Australian Idol back in the day. That was the go.
Oh, mate, yeah. I've come on. Yeah, this song's for my sibling.
This is my third cousin's favourite song. He got hit by a car last week.
I'm voting for
hit by Camira.
With that story, I'm voting for you.
I wonder... Look, I'm a skeptic. I wonder how many of those stories,
probably none of them.
true?
No, this is what happens, right? A producer gets hold of that story and then they'll poke the bear a little bit. Have you watched that the Jerry Springer documentary?
Yes.
Like that, where they'll be like, they'll wind you up in the room.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
really?
With Jerry Springer, the people who get out there and just be in a frenzy or
They
fired
fire
up, they would take the person away and say, now this bloke, do you know what this bloke's been doing to your wife? And are you going to stand for that? Because people like that, people think you're a walkover, and people, they just build them up and then they put them up on stage.
And then they would say, if you don't get out there and perform, then you don't get a flight home. And these people are all poor and shit. But similar for that would be they would grab hold of a story and just pull a piece of string. And then they would know what to say to just get a little bit more emotion out of you.
Yeah.
But every time you could be the shittest singer on Australian Idol. You'd be like, my dad died. And they'd be like, you're going through to the finals.
Yeah.
You're going through to the finals.
Yeah, golden buzzer. Here it is, golden buzzer.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
But like with Matty, how long after did he get married? And did he marry someone connected to any of these shows or anything?
So he is still with Laura that he ended the show with.
Yeah, right.
They officially got married like 2 or 3 years ago.
Geez, that'd be rare, wouldn't it?
Yeah, after having kids. There's a couple. There's him, Tim Robards, Sam Woods. Like there's a couple. But you can see the sort of guy they are. They're more immature, not fucking
Young
gas bagger.
Yeah.
Old mate over here.
Yeah.
You'd be actually good on Love Island. You'd get voted out immediately. I don't think you got the rig for it.
I don't.
I think you'd be F-Boy Island.
Yeah, you would
no,
be.
I reckon I'd win it. I wouldn't. The thing is, I wouldn't shack up with anyone. Though. I'd go in there and I'd just be me, and I think I'd
be
win
one of the boys.
I'd win it isolated. I'd be the first winner who ever wins it without a partner on it.
It was like, well, we really love Cooper just on his own. That way he's not annoying anyone all the time.
Yeah, I reckon I'd win it.
But this is the danger with reality TV. You are
subject
to the editors, the
bad
editing
edit,
suite.
bad edit.
They just sit there, mate. It just they very as much as your personality, they will form the personality in the edit suite.
Yeah, and you see the shockers that get bad edits.
Mate.
But you feel bad for some of them, mate.
And it's the cutaways. We're just getting technical there for a second about TV and everything, guys. I'm going to talk a lot about 2 shots, 3 shots here and cutaways. It's going to go over your head, but let me just try to make it simple.
Yeah.
So reality shows, you and Ash could be having a conversation,
Hey, Ash,
and all of a sudden you say something, and all of a sudden they have my reaction on the show going,
Oh yeah.
But what it is, throughout the night when they're having the dinner, they just have the cameras trained on everyone all the time. So they will take your expression that you did an hour earlier and apply it to that.
Yeah. It's called a bad edit.
That is that's
that
annoying.
Is bad because you don't have any control over that, and the contracts are so bad. Like
they don't give you any power, right?
There's no power, so that's why it's like I wouldn't. Obviously, I'm married with kids. I wouldn't be on Love Island or anything.
Well, you might.
Maybe divorce Island one day.
Just do it. Yeah, just go.
Sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it'd be great for the podcast.
Oh, it'd be great for you. The audience to love that.
Like I work at an erotic massage parlor. Trish knows it's cool. Just bring in the.
I thought your hands were soft when I shook your hands.
Yes, that's right. I thought I recognised you.
Hey, take your pants off and let me see if I recognise you.
He's got baby hands. Yeah,
it definitely made mine look big. No need to push the bass down on this one.
Don't worry. Well, another lifting the lid on our personal house and growing up. Like I've caught this fella giving himself a Hillary multiple times. Weird Al Yankovic. Like
you're only human, mate.
Mate, if you got two of those. And one of those is going to happen, mate.
It's going to happen. Can you change hands without losing a stroke?
No, I can't. No, I'm no good with my left hand.
One day.
It's funny, I can pass through good with my left hand, kick my left foot, but the other stuff,
Isn't that
I lay
funny?
on my right hand sometimes, make it numb.
Yeah.
For a treat.
Isn't that funny, though? Like the difference between a right and a left hand. It is it is a master stroke. It is the right hand understands me like the left hand would never get me. You know what I mean? I date my right hand. Wouldn't even go on a dinner date with my left.
Too many red flags on that left hand.
I'll give you a challenge, boys. Today,
now
wipe your ass with left hand.
Oh, yeah.
Not just to us, all the listeners, all of our backstage listeners.
All of them. Let us know. I used to have a manager that used to say, like, why don't you tomorrow start your day opposite? So do everything, brush your teeth opposite, wipe your ass off opposite, try and take a piss holding it with the opposite hand, just anything the whole morning and just be like, just to open your mind up a little bit.
Yeah. Harry Grant did that one day as well. We just tried everything with the left because he wanted
Yeah.
to get better.
I
With
saw
That's
him-
why he's such a good player now.
No, well, I saw him doing that in the Origin the other night. It was like he was kicking with his left foot.
oh, hey mate, you don't
Friend
say-
of the show.
Friend of the podcast. Can I quickly say one more Harry thing
Go on,
that you
go
reminded me of? So you know how Dad was ranting about boots before, and about so Dad's been like this always, right? Anytime anyone gets hurt, he always goes, "Mate, what boots you wearing?" And he always tries to bring it back to the boots because he's such a big believer in it, which I appreciate, mate. You
You've
believe
gotta
something,
believe in
you go with
something.
it.
You got to believe in something, and I feel like
Stand for something, bro.
yeah, once you've got something in your head and you're like, I know this is the problem, you've got to try and sell it.
Well,
all
you
the
might
time.
you might swallow your words after you hear this story.
Okay, here we
So Harry got hurt one time, and Dad goes, "Oh mate, I'll ring Harry about it, mate. You know, it's all right, mate. You know, yada yada. What'd you do? Yeah, sweet, mate. What boots were you wearing? What boots were you wearing?" Anyway, the reason it's so stupid in this sense was Harry hurt his shoulder. And we had to go. We're on the phone down
Was he
the other
wearing
line,
them on his
and
hands, was he?
Harry's going like listening to Dad rant about the boots. The boots are like, you know, you got to get it. And then Harry's like, Matty, I think it's a stretch in this sense, thinking that because I hurt my shoulder in a tackle, I don't know if it's reflective of the boots. And he's going, fair enough, you know, yeah, you're probably right, Harry.
No,
No, I
he tripped.
reckon-
He might have tripped. And so
Well, what boots was the guy he tackled wearing? Could be that.
There you go. Could be.
He could have jinked. He could have jinked right, and boom,
Yeah.
shoulder.
A story similar to that. Talking about boots and whatnot. A very good friend of mine, a fella called Craig Johnston, right? Newcastle boy, played for Liverpool, won a European championship. He
Yep.
invented the Predator boot. And he was saying when he first invented the Predator boot, like it was a lot of controversy, is this boot going to work? And the first person to wear the boot was a Manchester United player called Paul Ince. Jono was so nervous on this game, is the boot going to work? Is he going to stand up? He went to a shopping centre and he was walking around. Someone come up and goes, "Hey, Craig, how are you? Mate, Man U 1-0. And he goes, "Oh, wow. Who scored?" And they went, "Paul Ince."
Shit.
He went, "You're fucking kidding me." And rang his mate and said he scored. He said, "Yeah, with a header."
Hey, your two
Like
kids.
a mile of those things.
I do have
They're
two.
brilliant. Boy and a girl.
Yeah, Oscar is turned 6 in 2 weeks. and
Yeah.
Macy's 3.5.
Oh, wow. Hey, I wanted to ask you, right? Because Dad seems to think, Dad has his own opinion on this.
Okay.
Do kids make your marriage, like your relationship with your partner, better or worse?
It's a mixture, I think. I
Mainly
think
worse.
there's times where it's your like roommates. Like for example, like you're a long way out of nappy. Well, hey, do you still change your nappy?
Oh, you're talking about Dad? Dad's
Yeah.
still got
Yeah,
a
he's still got one
I've
too,
got
yeah.
10 years, I'm back in them.
You're allowed to. You're allowed to. It's you sort of go through the phase where you're in the trenches for sure. Like now for April and I, their kids are pretty self-sufficient. They're they entertain themselves. They're not as stressful. There's always different problems, but it for sure can make your marriage a bit of a task. But then I suppose like the people who stay together work on it, right? So the ones that get too fucking like this is too hard, they usually
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a handful. Like, quite seriously, when the boys were born, particularly when Jack was born, first child, I was terrified. I'm in the hospital, drunk. So,
Waiting for a pizza.
Yeah, no, wait for a pizza, pepperoni, hand it back. No, we get home from the hospital, and it's just me, Trish, new baby, and you're going, right, okay, middle of the night, like. Jack hasn't been crying. Is he okay? Go and listen. Is he breathing? Yes.
Is he
Okay.
breathing?
Yeah,
That's
I
a
mean,
classic.
all those things. Isn't
Yeah.
all of those things
Well,
you
your
gotta
whole,
contend
your
with.
whole world revolves
check
around
if
one
they're
thing,
breathing.
right?
Oh, it's
for-
terrifying.
For 25 years, I don't know when you had Jack, but for 25 years, you've only worried about basically yourself and your partner. Now you got a whole nother life.
I'll tell you
One
what
of the best piece of advice I ever got, my year 3 math teacher.
Yeah.
You know what she told me? So she said, Cooper, you need to stop breaking into my house and threatening to hurt yourself unless I go out with you. No, she didn't say that. She said, as you progress through life, your why changes.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that having Jack, your first boy, your why has been so different for so long, and then your why for everything you do in life goes to course.
Your why changes unless you're a crackhead.
Correct. Yeah. Wish I am. We'll do some more of that
It's
later.
funny, yeah. Like you were saying, it's so daunting. You leave the hospital, drive 40 k's an hour to get home because you're like, "Fuck, I don't want to hurt this thing."
Yeah.
And then you get home, and you're like, all of a sudden, you've forgotten everything that you learnt when you're in the hospital. And I think like a big message we tell our listeners is like, go easy on yourself. It's like starting a new job, right? No one expects you to be the best at that job on the first day, and especially for like new mums, they usually, you know, there's so much judgment, they put so much pressure on themselves that when you get to like, you know, when they finally get out of the trenches, it's like they're scarred from that moment. But like, just like we always say, like, just go easy on yourself.
Yeah, big time.
It's fucking tough.
You know what really helped Trish and I was we had 2 Border Collie dogs.
Yeah,
and they had 9 pups. Ellery
Shit.
had 9 pups, Border Collie pups, and two of the pups were honestly when they were born, we thought they were stillborn, but they were alive, and we had to nurse them and feed them.
Yeah, right.
And that happened. And I'll be honest, when and then like the care we had to give those dogs compared to really Jack.
Yeah.
It was like the dogs were a lot more hard work.
Yeah, the kids are resilient, man. Like, it's like I remember Macy's first Christmas, she was only 2 months old or something like that, and Oscar's opening presents, and Macy's on the couch, and then we're sort of concentrating on Oscar, and then all of a sudden you hear this bang. Macy's rolled off the fucking couch, hasn't she? Mid-present opening, you hear this thud, and you're like, oh fuck! And then the first time you drop a kid, you're like, shit, is she gonna be fine?
Bounce up.
They bounce back up, man.
Really?
They're
Well, they're
fine.
built, aren't they? They're built for that. They're built for a bit of.
They're built for dropping, are they?
Yeah, they built, mate. Well, the bones early on are quite elastic.
Well, look at me. I was dropped heaps and I turned out all right.
yeah, sure.
You nearly didn't get that sentence out.
Where am I? Hey? Oh, Jack wants to say something. Sorry.
No, Jack, go.
5 seconds, Jack.
Ash, you might have heard it. I saw you notice a couple of minutes ago, Matthew's watch went off, and you sort of had a little look at like what that noise was. Yeah. It's sort of known amongst the audience now. Matthew has this new like Adidas watch, this $100 watch we got from Maya for him, and he doesn't know how to change that beep. He hasn't figured it out. So on all of his on the hour, every hour, all day long, on his shows on Fox,
That's
on
so
all
good.
his radio programs, you can hear it. So if you're listening to him in the future, you'll know exactly what that sound is.
We're very similar, Matt. I've got a Casio calculator watch.
Oh, yep.
At home, and I've had it for 4 years, and I don't know how to turn the alarm off, and it goes off at 8 p.m. every night. Still goes off. I don't know. It's just in the drawer.
It's in the
in a
drawer.
knick-knack drawer.
Do you have to go turn it off every night?
No, I just let it go now.
Mine goes off. This one goes off 7 a.m. every morning. 20 beeps. Ding, ding.
Do you not know how to turn it off?
No
Me
idea.
either.
No.
I've just given up on it.
This is still on daylight saving and 4 minutes.
Yeah,
And they
I've
say,
got an
"Just fix
Adidas
it."
watch that's still on daylight savings
Mate,
too.
it's unbelievable.
Mate, my watch doesn't even work. It doesn't even move. It just sits there like that.
Same watch.
Hey, is that G-Shock?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool one.
Shout out to G-Shock.
Another habit of Dad's that the audience enjoys, which I just let him go now. When you talk, you can probably hear it in the headphones. He heavy breathes straight into the mic.
I like it.
Just to make you feel
That gives me goosebumps.
Can't help it, mate.
What are you complaining about over here, mate? You put a roof over your head. You've come back home in your
nest.
20s. My mum would never allow that. We weren't even allowed to take our beds when we moved out. She's like, get your own fucking beds. What am I going to have a bedroom without a bed in it?
Well, listen, Ash, I didn't want to air this out to the people and stuff, but like I had to come. Me and Jack had to come back home because Dad needs help around the house a lot
needs
now.
help changing.
He's quite old and fragile.
I will say this. I'm not joking here. If something ever happened to Trish, at first I'd be like joyous, and then after that I'd go, oh no, because don't own a computer, never sent an email, any of that stuff, and you find yourself. There's a couple of times where Trish has threatened me the last couple of years, like out, you're a pig, get out. And I remember thinking to myself, I have to sort of crawl back to it because I'm thinking, oh no, I don't know how to hook a TV up, to get the Foxtel in, all that sort of stuff. Oh no, just make good.
Yeah.
She wouldn't need to threaten you to leave. She just threatened to stop doing your admin.
Well,
And
yes.
that's scary enough.
Well, I have an inability to type, and so
an inability.
yeah, I know to type. And so what I used to have
That's
to
exactly
do,
how you do it. You know that.
Yeah, like, that's
Playing the piano.
Like
Yeah, that was me playing the piano. And so when I used to send an article once a week into News Limited, Daily Telegraph, when I used to do my article, I used to have to firstly fax it in. There was the big joke in there. Oh, hang on. To get the fax. Go, oh, Matty's article's coming through. And then they were like, mate, no more faxes. Man. Okay, no problem. And so Trish used to type it in. But then if me and Trish had an argument, she go, I'm not going to type your article in. I go, no. But I've learnt the old talk into the phone.
Smart.
And so, mate, she was shattered.
I thought you were going to say you started hand delivering it instead of faxing it.
We've slowly been teaching Dad like life skills so that if he wants to leave the marriage, he can. Because right now he's kind of trapped in it.
I am. I do feel like
he
that.
couldn't leave.
It could be worse, man.
Yeah.
Slowly. But Trish did
not much
Trish did
worse.
everything. Like in terms of, she taught me and Jack to drive. Like she was the one that taught us the life skills, and Dad kind of just was present, I guess, but like wasn't there. Like he never took us when we were on our L's.
I was on the billboard.
The only piece of
make it
advice Dad ever gave for driving, because Dad's not a great driver, he said to Jack, and Jack will confirm this. He goes, mate, now you're on your L's, you're in charge of a car. It's a bloody big responsibility, mate. And he goes, I just wanted to let you know that you are now driving a death machine. And Jack's like, right. And he goes, you need to
will
stay
die
on top of this. But if you don't know it yourself, you might kill someone else. So you need to really zone in. And Jack was like, this is day one of my L's. I don't need this kind of pressure. It's scary enough.
Well, Jack, we'll talk about Trish doing things. Trish used to always mow the lawn when Jack was a young fella. I remember Jack came out when he was Trish, we still talk about this. Jack walked out the back of the house in Newcastle and saw me mowing for the first time and just started crying.
Yeah.
So like,
he was like, who is this man?
Dad's gonna hurt himself.
Is he trained for that?
Just on that death machine comment, maybe if he told you that comment, you wouldn't have had that accident a few weeks back.
National news, wasn't it?
Ash, I tell you, mate. Whoa, wow.
Daily Mail's most popular.
Cheating death. And there was an accident the other day down here at Colorado and people were tagging him in.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
People were hammering me.
I know.
Nice work. I was like,
again,
shit.
I was funny because I saw that and then I spoke to you because you didn't go to Magic Round and I was like, hard enough a little bit, mate. And then I'm at home and I flick the TV on and Today Show, I think it was Sunrise or something, and there he is.
Just
wait a sec. The morning show with Larry and Kylie.
Yes.
And he was just, and I love the intro when they go, Cooper Johns cheated death and went. I went, oh no! Then they cut to him. You're just laying on the lying back on the lounge like shit.
Can I just say? So when obviously Larry's a close personal friend. Shout out to Larry.
Larry was my first ever guest on Two Doting Dads.
Really, mate,
was he?
Terrific bloke, isn't he?
Oh, he had us at his house to record. He put a charcuterie board out. It was beautiful.
Oh, he loves the charcuterie board.
Loves it.
We often French kiss while French kiss over a glass of wine and some cheese. No, but when they said, oh mate, because they were keen. I'd done it once before, and then they were keen to get me back on, and I had just sort of postponed it. And then when the car accident happened, obviously a couple of weeks later, they're like, oh mate, keen to get you on. And I said, because I obviously I take the piss out of myself quite a bit. Like it was a serious thing. I didn't want to take the piss out of a car accident, but I always bring it back to humor because that's what I feel comfortable
That's how
with.
you cope with it.
Yes, correct. But and I was like, I said, we're not going to be like, this isn't going to be like some sob story about me. And the producer goes, no. We're keen to talk to you about, just what's going on, the podcast. We're loving the potty and the radios. And sweet. So I'm happy to come on. Literally, I'm sitting in the chair and it goes, boom, this long intro. Cooper Johns comes on to talk about being unconscious and confused. And I was like, oh shit. And I've just come on and I'm dressed in like a white shirt and a hat. And I'm just like leaning into my chair. I look like the biggest idiot.
Oh, that's good gear. They bum-steered you.
Yeah, they did. They got me. I felt like I was on a current affair. They just come around the corner with a camera.
Do you know how to drive, sir? Mate, do you know that's a death trap?
If guys are dodgy when they actually walk in, and all of a sudden on those shows, they slow them into slow-mo and they go to black and white. So
He owes people heaps of money.
You got that dodgy builder.
Yeah. Was this an insurance job? Time will tell.
Hey, Mr. Smith. I want to talk to you about that pool.
Hey, your social media.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about it.
Yep.
How did you build that up? Because you got a large. You got about across Instagram and TikTok. You got about 1 million followers on there. Is that just something that happened like randomly overnight, or is it?
Oh, look, no. I wish it was overnight. I started making silly videos during COVID. And I didn't want to make slapstick comedy videos. I wanted to kind of capture the small interaction you have with your significant other.
Yeah.
And I originally started to do it to see if other people are doing the same thing. And it just so happens that they are doing the same thing. So I think I posted my first video at 220 followers.
Oh, wow.
And then I posted 10 videos a day for 2 years straight.
10
plus, maybe more.
Jeez,
I reckon I've got a folder of 10,000 videos that I've created. Yeah.
Which one? What was there? There was the one that really sort of exploded.
There was two. There was one originally, which was the phone call you make home when you finish work, and it's just like a nothing phone call. So, like for example, I'd leave work, I'd ring my wife, like, I'm on my way home. She's like, okay, I'm like, okay, bye. And that's it. People are like, fucking, we do that.
Yeah.
But then it had different interpretations of what that means to people. One, it's a warning on the way home, so you better
Get
clean
the bloke,
that out.
get the bloke out of there.
Yeah. And there was all these different, and so that one sort of took off. I was like, all right, cool. So people are doing the same shit. And then there was the one where if I'm like sitting on the couch with my wife and I just get up unannounced, and she's like, "Where are you going?" So people, and that was the conversation, and then people started to stitch it and try it, and they were getting up, and then you'd hear their wife in the back go, "Where are you going?"
Yeah.
Because they want to know where we're going.
So true.
Oh,
it is so true.
It is the relatable comedy you do. You're very clever with it. We were, especially the one I always like, that you kind of you bring it back to it a lot of the time when you're asking your partner what they want for dinner.
Oh yeah, I got a good on my story the other day.
Yeah.
My wife is a walking piece of content.
Yeah, right.
She's so predictable. I've been observing her for like 15 years now, so I'm pretty.
It's like a zoo enclosure. You're just
totally,
just watching.
yeah. And I know what the next move is.
So, totally, don't you?
And I bait her all the time. Where with this one the other day, I had a video about the face she makes when I suggest food she doesn't like, and it's just like a,
Yeah.
It's like she's insulted.
Yeah.
It's like when you sneeze around a dog and they're like, same thing. Like you've insulted their whole family. And I was like, oh, before I put this on my story, I might just do a lead up story to it. And I was like sitting at my desk and I was like, hey, babe. And she was like, yeah. I'm like, what do you want for dinner? And classic. She was like, I don't know. What do you feel like? And it was like, boom.
Yeah. Got you.
And I just laughed and I was like, it's just so predictable.
Is there anyone that surprised you that, like, because we've been out, at the local having beers and people come up and go, oh, love your content, love your videos. Is there anybody that, like, when you were rising and you were like, this person's liked my video or this person's DM me, like that really was a shock?
Yeah, but I had a big one. Do you remember from the Big Bang Theory, Penny? Every teenage boy's crush?
Yeah.
Kelly Kawoku.
Kaylee Koku. Yeah.
Kawoku, yeah.
Koku.
So she DM'd me.
No way.
And then started following me and she was just like, oh, I think you're hilarious, and posted me a story. It was fucking amazing.
that's
and
good.
I was like, I didn't have the balls to be like, everyone has a crush on you.
Yeah.
But that one, another good one.
You're my hall pass.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, this is amazing. My whole pass lives across the road.
Excuse me
by the
while
way.
I jerk off. Hang on a second.
Dad can't understand the concept of a hall pass because, like, her and him and Mum, they decided to get one.
Trish goes
Mum-
George Clooney.
Yeah, and then Dad just goes like our next door neighbour.
No, she's not exactly our neighbour. She's sort of just over the way a little bit. She goes, it's too close.
It is too close.
Way too achievable.
That's not how the concept works. It's not people you just want to have sex with in your neighborhood.
Oh, hey, guys, I'm just,
You're like, I've got a bunch of them. That one.
The next night she comes over for dinner. Hey, you should come around.
Yeah.
Do you know, Ash, like you said it before about your predictability and you know each other so well, the boys will verify this. Trish is a chitter-chatter, and it's taken me,
In movies.
it's taken the 30 years of our marriage to actually understand that when she sits in front of the TV and she just talks, she's talking just out the ether.
Yeah.
That she's not, it's all rhetorical.
She's got to get it out.
She's going, oh my God, what is going on there? And I used to go, oh, pause. Well, mate, blah, blah, blah. Just play. Oh, wow. Is she for real? Stop. Yeah. But I've realised now, I don't even turn. Trish just talks, and I'm literally watching, and I've worked out she doesn't expect.
No.
She would have been that kid, that annoying kid in the family who sat in front of the TV and just spoke all the way through the show.
Just chat. And like, she just wants to get it out there. And like, yeah, I mean, it's funny, like just some of the things that you sort of pick up on when you've been married for so long. Like there's just so many little bits and bobs that so for example, like if we're anywhere, so here we go. Here's one. We're organising Oscar's birthday at. Now I can hear Dad.
Oh,
breathing.
Dad, you got to stop breathing, mate. It is that loud.
when I concentrate. Sorry.
Just get the fucking.
I'll take it as a compliment.
It started so light, and then,
Did you hear that then?
mate? It was people. If they had AirPods in, they would have dead set
Yeah, I
been
was like-
drowned.
I was like,
Is there a Boeing 747 going over?
Okay, gentlemen, let's continue.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're organising Oscar's birthday at Time Zone, just because it's easy. And we were in there the other day, and my wife's like asking me all these questions about the place, and I'm like, I don't work here, right? And she was like, "Oh, I thought you would just know," because she just thinks I know everything about everywhere. Or if we're at like, she's like, "Oh, I've got to go to the chemist. Do you know what time they shut?" I'm like, "They shut at normal chemist time."
Google it.
Yeah, do you know if they've got these eardrops? I don't work there.
Yep.
And I just know it's coming.
Well, that's like, don't worry, your kid's going to be the exact same, because when you're young, you know, when you think your dad is just like you look up to your parents, you think they just know everything. They know the way the world works. They're your hero. And then you get to like 17, 18, and you see them like playing with themselves and shit. And you're like, this bloke is just a dead shit.
I've set the expectation really early. So Oscar will ask me questions and it's like, your dad's an idiot. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
I do not know. Don't start.
That's a great message for the kids. Low expectations. Don't set the bar too high.
Yeah, don't
I will say, I reckon the key to a marriage, and this is hand on my heart, and I've said this to mates who get married, right?
Yeah.
A decade ago, I said one of the key things is ignore the hypocrisies and don't keep a scoreboard, because there's hypocrisies all the time. There is no doubt. Like my dad used to say the same to me, son. All the women they must get a book when they're 14 and they read it. He said because it's universal at the time.
Yeah.
And like even just before Ash, when we're here this morning, Trish was like, "What are you up to?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I might bump Coop, and me and Coop were talking about going down and getting some breakfast." She goes, "Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, nice. Yeah." So me and Coop go down there. Literally, as soon as we sit down, Trish sends me a text.
Yeah.
How long are you going to be? Because I booked you a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, and it was from when our food come out, it was half an hour away, and the drive was 20 minutes to get there. And that's like, my breakfast is just come.
I've just sat down for breakfast. She goes, "Oh, well, sorry for caring about your health." And I said, "But you know I'm here."
Yeah.
And anyway,
that was annoying.
And I get in the house and she goes, "Well, you don't care for yourself and you don't care for anyone else." And I said, "Jesus fucking Christ, let's steady on a little bit."
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. Like, when my wife always does this thing where we go, if I'm going out with the boys, just the last thing she'll say or whatever is like, "Don't be too late." And you're like, "Oh, thanks, buzzkill." You
I know.
absolutely buzzkilled you.
Is it terrible, the last one? Now, what time do you think you'll be home?
Yeah. Tell me what the work. No, that's what she goes, "What are you doing this afternoon?" I said, "I'm going to this podcast, and then I've got the Manly game tonight. I've got mates at the pub, and blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Tell me the worst case scenario for you tonight." I said, the
worst case?
The worst case is that I don't leave the house at all and I'm stuck here. The worst case for you is you're not going to see me for the rest of the night.
Yeah. Right, the rest of the weekend.
And for me, that's the best case.
I'd say the worst case for you is Manly have a massive win. I go to the pub, I win on the pokies.
I go on a Mad Monday, whatever.
Don't worry. Well, we've had a beer in Vegas together. I know that's a very possibility that you could be gone for the next 7 days.
I just got back from Origin. So I flew up Wednesday with PointsBet.
Is that one of your first Origins?
No. I used to live in Tweeds. I used to go to Suncorp a bit.
Suncorp's great to watch.
Yeah, my sister used to live in West End, so I used to go up there a lot. But I sort of did a bit of a strike mission with I don't know if you know Matt Beach. He's the cameraman.
Yeah,
So he's my videographer on the side. So I flew him up and we stayed in a backpacker like a bunch of kids, and we did we did a trainers Mad Monday video. So it's essentially just me fully dressed as an on-field trainer, just rubbing people down on the Caxton, really, and just being a pest. So it was fucking good fun. And then we finished up filming at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And then got on a flight at like 6:30 in the morning back home. And I rocked in and I was just a fucking shell of a human being.
Oh, mate. So it doesn't say a Vegas State of Origin Magic Round. For a rugby league fan, it is it's the greatest day when you're in it, and the next 4 days following it, it's the worst time of your life.
I did a long weekend in Vegas this year because I didn't know I was going until the day before.
Yeah.
I messaged you and I said, "You still going?" And then I said to my wife, "I'm off to Vegas."
See you, honey.
See you tomorrow. And I took a mate with me then too to help filming. But yeah, 3 days. We worked out I had one meal in 3 days. And then I flew home.
It's amazing. We went over last year to Vegas. Myself, Fletch, Hindy, and Gordy, they sent us over on a reconnaissance.
I recall,
10 days early. I come back, I lost 8 kilos. Trish goes, "Mate, you're not going to Vegas ever again by yourself." But I've got to give Vici a massive rap. Vici and Charlie, they two young guys, people, they do all the promos on Fox Sports. We've had Fox Sports America executives watch their promos and go,
So good.
They do a better job than no NFL guys.
Yeah. They're both very. Yeah, I sort of met Veach first year in Vegas. Actually, I remember running into you the first year in Vegas. I think you were 3 or 4 days in, and you were carrying about 3 or 4 suits with you, like you had fresh from the dry cleaning. You popped out behind a pot plant somehow, and I took one look at your lift, and because it was so windy.
Oh, it's horrendous.
That first year was
You looked like you'd been fucking sucking on the end of a bit of lipstick, and it was just crazy. You're like, "How are you, fellas?"
I'm glad you said lipstick there as well.
And I was just like, "Oh fuck, yeah!" Like,
Dad was a mess that first Vegas trip.
Oh,
Like,
I recall.
First night. So the second day we were there, we were going to do a podcast with the Hello Sport Boys. Just second day there. How's Vegas going? Yada yada. Dad went out the night before with Buzz Rossfield.
With Fletch and Hindy.
And Buzz was there as well.
Buzz was he?
Buzz was there. Yeah. And completely gone off the grid. I had to go to his hotel, prove I was his son. They buzzed me up to his room, got him out, did the podcast. But at this stage, Dad's lips were so chafed. Every time he'd smile in the podcast, they'd crack and start bleeding. He looked like the Joker.
Because you recorded out the back of that
Resorts World,
because it was like a wind tunnel through there. That whole trip was so bad. I'm trying to remember. Like I had to do a golf shoot with Braith, and I walked in from the club at like 7:30 in the morning with Matt, and Matt was asleep because he's soft. And then I was like, okay, I'll go up and get dressed. It was a 9 a.m. shoot. Matt rings me and goes, "You're awake?" I said, "Yeah, I'm still awake." And then I got fully dressed, and then all I remember is them having to try and knock the door down because I'd fallen asleep sitting up waiting to go to this shoot. And Matt was like, "Fucking hell!" Like dragged me out. Went to Top Golf, and there's Braith, fresh as a daisy, of course. Like the guy hasn't sniffed alcohol the whole trip. And he took one look at me and was like, "Fucking hell, look at you."
You guys, would you, from my interactions with both of you, you seem like polar opposites.
Yeah, it works that way. He's like, he'll have a nudge when it's time to have a nudge, but he's like, he's got a brain. And that's the difference. Like, he's just like very good. And I remember doing this shoot and they bring out a bucket of beers on these tacos and I was just like, so sick. And Braith was like, "Fucking hell, like, how are you going to get through this?" I played a cover drive, that's right, instead of a golf shot.
But you know what, Ash and boys, I've worked out with Vegas, it's more than just the big nights. Vegas is draining because everywhere you look is for your dopamine.
Oh yeah,
it's purely hitting your dopamine. The gambling, the poker machines, the neon lights, the fast food, everything is about your dopamine. So after 3 days, you're just fucked.
Oh yeah, like we did. 3 days is a good amount. The time before was it 9 days?
Yeah,
something like that. We did with Fox, and it was just too much. I remember at the airport on the way out, and the lady was like, and because it was so windy, so many flights were getting cancelled. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna have to fly out tomorrow," and I was like, "Get me the fuck out of here!"
Yeah.
I just was. I'm not leaving this airport. Like fuck that.
You want to get out.
I don't think I've told him. I'll tell this one now. It's been time, but because he sold the company now, and hopefully he won't take offence. But that first trip we went to, we were there for 10 days. At day 9, we are hanging by a thread, and we're just going, "Get us out of here." So we're about to head back to LA and then fly back. Literally, that day, I get a call from Steve Crawley, who's the boss at Fox Sports.
I got a funny story.
And he goes, "Hey, Matty, how you going?" I said, "I'm over.
You sound like Darren Lockyer.
Having to walk away with the 2 points." He said, "Well, if that's the case, I've got some bad news for you." I went, "Oh." He goes, "I need you to stay in LA one more night." And I went, "Oh, Crawls, why?" He said, "Oh, mate, Lachlan Murdoch wants you to have him around to his house."
Oh, actually, yeah.
We went, "Oh, I suppose you got to do it."
I met Lachlan Murdoch on the field.
Oh, did you?
And everyone was too scared to go. I didn't know who he was. I threw him a footy.
No
and
way.
then I'm getting a photo with him, and I come back, and Carl was like, "Do you know who that was?" I was like, "No, I just thought it was him and a bunch of mates. It was his security detail."
So we're going. We're sitting there and we're going, right, so is it a party? Is it just us? And we're all going, "Mate, I don't know." And we're going, "How are we going to handle this?" And I said, "Righto, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be there at 6. Let's meet down at the bar at 3. Just hammer vodka." I said,
it's always the answer. Isn't it?
better to turn up drunk than awkward.
Yeah.
So we turn up, right, 15 acres in Bel Air, and we pull up in an Uber. We're all drunk. The doors open. We start walking down this like 500-meter drive. Anyway, Fletcher, we're on the way down. We're laughing at mate, Karen. And Fletcher goes, fucking mate, I wonder if he can fucking see us. Anyway, security brief. These blokes come up, these armed soldiers come up and go, hey, man, he can and he is.
He's watching.
But he was very gracious. He was very, very nice.
Yes, I heard you had a good time in there.
Yeah.
In fact, underneath his house, they've got all
It's
this
a dungeon.
Yeah,
That's what I was just imagining.
They had all these like corridors.
Glass tables.
And what's his name? His last album, Pavarotti, recorded down there. Pavarotti Ferrari went down there and said, "This is the best acoustics I've ever heard."
Wow.
And so recorded his last album underneath in that area down there. Because you remember the movie? Remember there used to be a show when I was a kid called the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
That's the house.
Oh, really?
No way.
That's iconic, that house.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, I can imagine like, fuck the people that have been through that place. But I remember that trip because I went with Fox. There was an email that came out from Steve Crawley to everyone at Fox that was involved. And it was a lovely email about how it was so successful and blah, 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 blah. And then I remember saying to Matt, I'm like, should I reply all on this email? Just for fun? And Matt's like, oh, okay, I guess so. And I just, because it was like, I just want to thank everyone for such a successful trip. And I just responded saying, just another day in the office. and then I sent a photo of me and Lachlan Murdoch to him as well. And I was like, I remember going through the email list and it was like, Braith, Hindy. I think you're on there. If you went back through it, you'd see it. And it was the only one to reply to all.
I don't know what Matty J they sent the email to because Dad doesn't even have a fucking email.
Yeah. I get a call from Carl at KO and he was like, what the fuck have you just done? And I was like, oh, well, because if I never got to work with him again, it wouldn't have bothered me. But
We're talking about the clash of cultures. Him and Sarah welcomes into the house and we just walk in. Oh, yeah. He goes, what do you want to drink? We said, I'll have vodka. And we all sit down and we go, he goes, what have you guys been doing? Yeah, we've just been in Vegas, just basically hammering the piss for a week. What have you been up to? He goes, yeah, me and Sarah just come back from the UK and we met with President Zelensky. I went, no, okay. No worries.
Yeah.
Just another day.
That's very
similar. It's similar.
Yeah. Where do you go to from that? Like, there's no relatability in that?
I'll just show myself out. Thanks.
Now, Fletcher was just firing questions at him, mate. Tell us about this. Tell us about that. And I'm going, oh, fuck.
So is he a fan of the show?
Yeah. I asked him, I said, just a question, Lachlan. Why the fuck would you invite us hillbillies here? And he said, I'll tell you why. He said, I love the show. And he said, I just wanted to know, I've always wondered, do you blokes love each other as much off camera as you do on? He said, I can see you do.
That's good.
And we do. We're all just great mates.
Makes a big difference for sure.
Yeah.
You guys are doing the bomb with Birdo this week, aren't you? I think a shoot with Bert.
Oh, with Leon.
Yeah. I might be there throwing the ball.
Yeah, nice.
I'm trying to weasel my way onto that shoot.
Well, mate, say go Lockie Galvin.
I actually sent Galvin a message last night because I was like, "Oh, good on you, mate. Fresh start."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What did he say back?
He said, "Fuck off." No, no, he hasn't responded.
Yeah. Is this you, Isaac?
Is this burner account? Yeah.
It's Michael Chamis' burner account. Oh, well. Is that it? Have you got any more questions, mate? Everyone happy?
I think we've covered so much. Ash, we've taken a lot of your time.
No, all good.
You're off to Four Pines Park. Good luck for tonight, brother.
Yeah. Look, I'm nervous, but I'm also like I might just load up on the Broncos.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's Tavanga's 150 game, so hopefully they show up for him.
Could be free money for you.
He's a good fellow, Jazz Tavanga.
He's a
terrific,
smashing
fellow.
He's a terrific
good guy.
Fellow. Yeah. He's a tough hombre.
He's short,
It's
man.
called hombre, not hambre.
I said hombre. I said
Handbrake?
I said hombre.
I said hambre. Like
Should
in handbrake.
we all three of us finish with a song? Sometimes we like to finish with a
let's
song.
do it. What we got? What song we got?
What song? Are you a fan of Frank Sinatra?
Not really. What about Bon Jovi?
Sure. Wanted Dead or Alive?
Always? What about Always?
Always, not a bad song.
We just did an episode where I threw my neck out singing Always. I had to wear a neck brace. For
What's the first word?
I don't even know.
What's the first loose?
You guys.
And I will love you
always,
baby.
Always. And I'll be there when the sun don't. Remember there was that ad of MG?
Yeah.
Mark Guy.
That's
That
what the
song?
tab ad.
The tab.
Oh, please
And he
get
was like,
that up.
I was like, I don't know this song.
He's a good
It's-
actor, MG.
Yeah.
Hey,
He's a good actor.
look, I'm going to put my radio head on for a second. MG's good talent. MG's
Oh
good
my
talent.
God! Talk about the
First
end,
year.
Judgy Muhammad.
First year in radio, it's like, yeah, he's good talent.
Oh, mate.
Second year, might I just add. And I've been around.
So you're just about due for retirement then?
let me just tell I usually around the 6 year mark. That's usually when I get forced.
6 years, 19 games.
6
Haven't
years,
even
19.
completed the season.
Yeah, welcome to media, brother.
barely completed a set.
No, you had the best preseason ever.
Thanks, I appreciate it. And look, I know as a Manly fan, it must be quite surreal for you to like what a sliding doors moment. You coming on
Yeah.
my podcast and whatnot. But I really
On
appreciate it.
1997, let's go hashtags, mate.
so
Appreciate
that's
it,
when
brother.
the Knights beat the Eagles, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Who wants to talk about that?
clearly does.
All right, boys. Thanks for having me.
Who's that?
Thanks, boys.